Hey YouTubers, this is Brandon G6 Mogul, and for me and my family, today is a special day. Today is November 4th. Uh, my dad was born on this day, and so on a day like this is a day I would like to always light a candle and kind of be in a reflective kind of mode. I was very fortunate to have some friends that kind of got me out of that space of memorial, and I appreciate that very much. I miss my dad. Okay, I miss him every day. I miss him every second, and it's crazy because he wasn't like a perfect dad. You know, but at the same time he was perfect. So he was very complex. He was very much of a contradiction. He was very intelligent. He wrote books. He did a lot to try and serve his black community. He started the first black pest control in 1964. As a matter of fact, the way he even went about doing that was that he got back from the Army. He actually went to the Army. He also went to the Air Force. He got back, and the only thing he was able to get on was get work for the city on a garbage truck. And so there was a bottle one day he tried to toss it in the garbage truck, and it went out on the other side. So he went, got the bottle, tossed it in again, and it went out the other side. And so this went on a couple of times. There's something said, "Hey, dummy, read the bottle." So he read the bottle, and that bottle was teaching how to mix some pesticides to kill critters. Okay, so he took that and he started Holloway Discount Pest Control in 1964, and so he took that and he ran with it, and he was able to build a successful business that helped raise me and my brother off of its resources. And amongst that, he also started his first publishing company for his books that he wrote, which was, I guess, considered hot topic and controversial. He was ahead of his times, and he did everything he could to kind of wake up the community. I think in a time period like this, he would probably be well received. People are starting to become more aware of what he's already knew and what we already was taught. We get more information, more confirmation of that he was right every day. So he probably loved this. He had a landscaping company. He landscaped some pretty big clients in Beaumont, which is the city I grew up in. Shouts out to Beaumont, Big Money, Texas. Showed me that. But nevertheless, he did a lot of those things. And because he didn't know his dad, he made a point to make sure that we got to know him. Now, he died in 2004. I was very fortunate to take care of him when we became bedridden for those 2 years, and that was right after I graduated. I did college classes in high school, and I was going to pursue it further as I was doing computer networking and stuff like that. But when he became sick, it was like a no-brainer for me to just go there and take care of him. Not to say it was easy. Be quite honest, I hated him at the time. The way he was so domineering, and quite honest, he was a tyrant in his last years, that I really hated him. I absolutely hated him. It got to the point I couldn't even touch him. He needed help to go from his bed to the commode toilet thing, and I had to put a towel between his arms and my hands just so I could touch him, because I couldn't stand him. The hate was so toxic, and he was cussing, fussing, shooting. Like he had guns. He drew a gun at me so many times as a kid that every time I actually got held at gunpoint, I was just cool with it. Like, hey, I got a watch, I got a bracelet. I don't want that. Well, sir, I have nothing else to offer you at this time. So like I said, I was cool when I finally got held up at gunpoint, thanks to my dad holding me up at gunpoint throughout my childhood. So he was a trip. I always testify that the thing that saved the relationship, that path, that toxic path he was going down, was a small book that I was part of a book of a month club. I was my second month in there. The first book was Robert Kiyosaki, Cash Flow Quadrant. Definitely read that book. whole nother conversation. But the Attitude 101 book, which is the book of the month, was amazing for me. And in that book, it's by John Maxwell, and he said, change your attitude will change his attitude. And I'm like, that shit ain't gonna work. I'm gonna do this just to prove it doesn't work. And he would cuss me clear out like every day. I was everything but my name. He got so good with cussing me out, he started making up cuss words. Yeah, where they do that at? Oh, I can show you where. And so, but I started changing my attitude, and he started changing his attitude. And long story short, on that, he and we got the relationship that I always wanted as a kid. And so that book, if you have a relationship like that going on with you right now, I definitely tell you to run out and get this $10-12 book, Attitude 101 by John Maxwell, and really dig into that book, because I can't imagine how our relationship would have been going along that course. I wouldn't have the peace that I have from taking care of him that I have now, and I think the good fortune I have from doing that. So by all means, and he actually told me he loved me, which, as I said at his eulogy, a child shouldn't wait 2 years to hold their life to hear you say I love you. A child, you as a parent, you might never heard it, and you think you came out okay, and you may deprive your kids of hearing that from you. But I ask you, why would you continue a pattern that didn't work for you? When you have resentment from not hearing it, why will you continue that pattern to your children? One of the things I wish he knew now. Oh, yes, I know some of y'all question. Yes, he knew I was gay. I'm pretty sure he knew I was gay. So that's not one of the things I wish he knew now, because guess what? He kind of already did. Whole nother conversation. But one of the other things that I wish he knew was that we are actually Igbo or Nigerian on his side of the family, which is funny because he didn't like Nigerians. And so, yeah, I think he would have had a time knowing that much. I think one of the saddest things that I wish he knew was that the man that he thought was his dad wasn't his dad. My younger brother, he had the foresight to dig into the family history a bit more, and it turns out that that man wasn't his dad. And our great-grandmother, she knew who his dad was and didn't want to come forward in telling him that information. And I think about that sometimes because, like I said, him not knowing his dad was a driving force to making sure that we knew him. And so what happened if my grandmother told the truth? What if she did introduce him to his real dad? What would have happened? What was the dynamic? What would his mindset would have been? My dad was very a very dominant person, dominant personality. He was a giving man. He literally gave cars away, meals. He had a real genuine heart to help people, just like my mom does. But at the same time, I also saw how that hurt him, and how when you're a giver like that, or even like myself, you have to protect your heart, and you have to protect that giving nature, because people will take advantage of that, and you'll get hurt. And I saw him get hurt times, and I even think sometimes me and my brother hurt his feelings, things like that, which we always regret those things. But definitely could see that in him. But I think one of the beautiful things about people that have experienced hurt, they don't let that shape who you are and your personality. We all been hurt. We all been through something, and we all been so tortured sometimes, you know, by comments and things or events that go on. So to be able to move past that and let yourself still be the same person that you were despite that is true strength. And in some cases, I would say that I'm stronger than my dad in those regards, which I think I get from my mom. But yeah, I definitely could see when he went through those things. I could think of countless of stories. If you knew anything like my dad, I always describe him as Sanford and Son, that much drama, times 9, just with more cussing and more weapons. He loved us as he's loved his boys. Matter of fact, it was like I think it was New Year's or maybe like 4th of July, but they was popping a lot of firecrackers outside. And so we was kids, we was scared, we didn't know what was going on. So my dad just took it upon himself to go ahead and go out the front door. And he just yelled out to the neighbors that, you know, y'all pop one more MF and firecracker, then he gonna start, you know, popping off some stuff. All of Boma knew my dad was a fool. Not no Medill fool. He made Medill look like a pussycat. My dad was a pure certified fool. Police department didn't really fuck with him. Like, they knew it. So when they heard him say what he said out there, it was quiet the rest of the night. So whatever 4th of July that y'all was enjoying, y'all put a quick stop to that. So all those little firecrackers y'all done popped for the little Tommy that night, oh well, little Aaron and Brandon, we weren't ready for that. So you gonna have to go ahead and postpone that because they daddy said so. Because that was my dad, you know. So he was definitely that guy. Matter of fact, someone broke into his pest control shop, stole all his equipment, and so my dad was about that life. And so you think you hood, you think you gutter. He was pretty hood and gutter. I can assure you. So he put the word out on the street that if he don't get his stuff back by X amount of time, then X amount of things are gonna happen to that person. So they received a message, and they brought all his shit back like the very next day, before like an hour before the time period even expired. Like it wasn't even a game at that moment. So, like I said, I miss him. He was dramatic though. Like he was so dramatic, and he was manipulative. He was he was evil at times. I mean, just fucking evil. Like my childhood was like the Hunger Games plus the P. Diddy apprenticeship, which him and P. Diddy have the same birthday, November 4th, the day of the provocateur. Wise, charismatic, easy to talk to, and then you know they learn your weaknesses and start using them against you when they're ready. So that was our childhood. So all those negative qualities, I still miss the good qualities. He was easy to talk to. He's where I get my entrepreneur side from. You know, I remember reading a book to him for bedtime. Yeah, it got that good. I was reading him a book for bed, right? And it was just good moments, and I missed that. So he's been gone since 2004, and if you lost anyone, then you know, feel free to share. But you know that the pain of the loss do subside. I remember waking up one time and it just felt like he died all over again. And I woke up like crying as if, you know, I was just found out again. At the same time, I remember not knowing what it felt like to be hugged by him. So, I don't know, my cousins, they're like, hey, have you ever hugged your daddy? I'm like, no, we never hugged him. We don't know what that feels like, you know. And I kid you not, I had a dream that night. And he was in a dream, and he hugged me. And it felt so incredibly real that when I woke up, I was like, whoa, that's what it felt like to be hugged by my dad. Like, that, how it felt. And this one's kind of embarrassing. But I remember, last year, I I had a lot of financial stuff going on. I think it was like year 16, whatever it was. The rent was due, car note was due, and and I would think I was like short, maybe like $300 just to break even, and something else came up, and it was just so much. And you know when it gets so bad for you, you just want to take a nap. You just wore the fuck out. Like you just like, I can't even deal with this shit no more. I just want to take a nap. And so I went into a nap or a coma, stress induced. And in that dream, he was there, and kind of like in our old house. And my dad, he always wore tennis hats. It was all his tennis hats, t-shirts, his overalls, and his Rolex watch, which he left me. And he always kept his money in his hat. So whenever he ever needed something, we just said, just go to the hat. Get your 10 or get your 20 or whatever. Just go to the hat. So in my dream, I'm like telling him what's going on, and he's like, "Oh, just go to the hat," And I went to the fucking hat. Who would? You go to that damn hat. You skip into the fucking hat. Gonna get a couple hundreds here. Give me a little 50 there. And so in this dream, I went to the hat, and I woke up. And I felt like everything's all taken care of. My dad, he got my back. Then I had the realization that it was a dream. It was a fucking dream. And then you feel lost again, and you feel like you get the pressure of what you was dreaming about, like oh, I still have some fucking bills to cover. But it was just like it was just a dream, and it was so comforting and so reassuring of a dream. And to wake up from that, I was just so upset. I was very upset. But like I said, I miss him. I do. So on this November 4th, I just wanted to kind of talk about him and kind of get it out there. So I hope this is helpful to you guys. I know we all experience loss in different ways, and in these times where kids are losing their life, and it's so sad, because it's one thing I could say, and I can look at the things that my dad have done. It's different when we go to a funeral of someone who lived their life. But it's so sad, and it's so different when you go to a funeral of someone young and they had their whole life ahead of them. And I'm hearing about a young black man being lynched. I'm hearing about still kids getting shot. All these horrible things happening, and it's just me just saying it's sad. It's just such an understatement, but that's all I can conjure up at this moment. But so I'm gonna go ahead and go. I hope everyone have a great night, and tell somebody you love them. Okay, I'm out.